Absolutely loved it. Yes, it was great.
Hey, thank you.
It's kind of a strange thing to say, but it was much better than it needed to be. Do you know what I mean? I think like salad
What does
fans
that mean?
would be. What do you know what I
What does
mean?
that
Like,
mean?
well,
What does
salad
that
fans would be
mean?
happy with anything, but it's obvious it's much better than it had to be to please salad fans. And I don't know, I really enjoyed it.
That's really interesting that you'd say that.
It sounds just maybe I didn't put that
Right, I
right.
think it
You know what
just
I
goes
mean,
to
though?
show. I do. I know exactly what you mean.
Mm, mm.
We.
Welcome. We are Neil,
Luke and Dave.
340 somethings, reminiscing on the runners and riders of 90s guitar music.
We look at the bands who soundtracked our youth on both sides of the pond and interview some of our heroes from the bands that defined a generation.
You'll hear about the good, the bad and the ugly of 90s guitar music.
This podcast is Stupid and Contagious. Episode 98, the Stupid Contagious podcast. This week we're talking to Marina from Salad. That's coming up. That's a good one. So we'll get into that one a little bit later. Before that, what's everyone been up to? Luke, you go first. What have you been up to?
Just driving. I've just come back this second from 5 hours of driving lessons today.
5 hours?
How much were they?
Well, I had one driving lesson in the car, 2 lectures, and then 2 more driving lessons.
How much does 1 hour's lesson cost there?
It's a bit irrelevant because of the exchange rate all changes, doesn't it? But I don't know. Got to know how to.
Did you get a happy ending with that as well?
That was all part of the package. Oh yeah.
That's not bad then.
Yeah.
5 hours. Fucking
I was thinking though, right? Because I was doing it, and we went out like the second one. It's like a double lesson. It's like 100 minutes, and we left at like 5:40. So like the rush hour was just starting basically. Wow. And I was just thinking about it, like when I first learned to drive when we were 17 in fucking sleepy Seaford. It's a piece of piss. I was going out into the rush hour traffic of the middle of the biggest city in the world with millions of people and taxis and people stopping and unloading and bikes and just chaos, man.
Well, it's easy around here, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you melt down in panic?
Maybe it's harder because you have to actually do more driving because you're not sat behind traffic. Like if you learn to drive in London, most of it's just probably just sitting around.
There's so much to avoid and to stop and people running out and it's just crazy. It's craziness. But yeah,
it's going all right, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good. It's good fun. Enjoying it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any music to report?
Any music to report? I've been listening to I've been listening to a bit of punk rock actually. I've been watching this documentary about East Bay punk music that listener John sent me a link to. So I've been doing that, listening to lots of 90s punk. We should try to get a few 90s punk bands on the podcast, man. I've been listening to
because I obviously haven't tried to get everyone from the 90s on already. But yeah, I'll try.
I'll give you a few more names. Yeah, I've been getting into Lookout Records, kind of pop punky stuff. It's good stuff, man. It's good.
Well, me and Dave, we've been hanging out together a bit. We went fishing. Oh. We had our annual fishing trip. We say a fishing trip. We go around Danny's house. Used to be that we all got rods from Danny's house. I went fishing, but me and Dave, as the years have gone by, we've opted out of the fishing aspect of it because it's
too difficult.
It's a pain in the arse, and it's not very.
So we picked Danny up. And he brings his fishing stuff. He doesn't catch anything either, but
same. Yeah.
So we're getting less and less stuff as each time we go.
It was much better this time without bothering fishing.
Danny casts out his rods, and we sit there, and nothing happens. We don't catch it.
Yeah. No.
Something ate is bait though.
It's quality.
Yeah, something ate is bait. A fish ate is bait, but we didn't actually catch that.
We didn't notice the rod wiggle.
Basically.
Sure.
And go home.
Yeah, I like that, man. I like that. Get some boys' time. That's cool.
We don't go for the fish. It's just nice. It was nice, wasn't it? It was a nice evening.
But I like the fact that you've given up on the pretense of it as well. Not many people can let go of that pretense. That's good.
I think Danny's still clinging on to the fact that he's going to catch some fish. But,
Yeah, I mean,
think
someone's
even-
got to put
I think
the performance
even
in.
he's starting to give up on that. I think.
There aren't any fish in there.
No, and there's
In the
not
whole
sure
thing.
sea.
In the English
Yeah.
Channel.
Yeah.
No, all gone. Overfishing, isn't it?
It is actually. That's the fucking worst of the animal killing industries is fishing, man. It's so fucked. Yeah.
Yeah, what do you
they
call those ones that drag the bottom? Those
Yeah.
bottom
Oh, yeah,
draggers.
those dragons.
That's just
Yeah.
hideous.
Yeah, they just take
Yeah.
everything, don't they?
They just take everything. They get like a kilometre by a kilometre net.
Drag it.
Just drag the whole thing, destroy the coral,
Dolphins,
destroy the whole
killer
ecosystem.
whales, not-
And they'll take like 1% out of it, and 99% that they've killed, they just throw back. It's fucking insane. And no one's stopping them.
I wonder if they picked up any divers in their nets. That'd be unlucky.
They wouldn't even notice. Just kill them and tuck them away with the rest.
They did that bloke in the forest, didn't they? I don't know if it's just a myth. One of those forest fires, they found like a dead person in the forest, and they reckon that he'd been picked up by one of the water planes had picked him up swimming and dropped him in the forest.
Really? What? How unlucky.
What do you mean, a water plane?
You know, they pick up when they put fires out.
Oh, what to throw on the fight? Yeah.
Yeah,
They scoop it out of a lake.
they skipped him out and dropped him in the
I mean, it's not
forest.
funny, but I mean, it's just
Red
could
river.
happen, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta be careful. Yeah, I don't know why they thought, but last night I watched that 127 Hours again. I've seen it before, but it's horrible.
True story.
You seen it? It's true.
I have. Yeah. Yeah.
Was that the
Dude.
Franco one?
Yeah.
James Franco stuck
Yeah,
in a
he
rock.
cuts his own arm off.
Yeah, it was good, that.
It is good. It's amazing how it keeps you sort of interested, even though nothing really happens until the last sort of 20 minutes.
What would you do in that 127 hours?
Well, I'd like to think I'd do the same, but I don't know if I could. I
I'd just
I
kill
don't-
myself
The
immediately.
breaking of the bone bit that was, I don't know. I wouldn't even think about doing that.
No, I'm not clever enough. Like, I wouldn't have even thought of
No.
like recycling my piss and stuff. I'm too stupid to even
that's
think
the
of that.
thing. I don't think I'd last more than a couple of days. Yeah.
I think I'd last about 126 hours.
Right. And then died.
Yeah.
Good film, though.
Yeah, it is good.
I've had a continuing problem with the horses.
All right.
You know, I annexed some land. I annexed
Yeah.
some other field.
Yeah, you
with-
took that bit
but-
of land. That's yours.
The horse just smashed
Colonised
it
it.
off. The horse just smashed straight through it and started munching
Your
my
fence?
plants again. Yeah.
Smashed through your fence.
I mean, it wasn't a very good build by me, but I was
Mm.
quite
That
disappointed.
means next time it happens, you're entitled to shoot it.
Yeah, all right. Yeah. Yeah, fair enough.
So get yourself a shotgun. You could probably get one out there. It's allowed in that sort of area, isn't it, to have a gun?
Most people are allowed guns.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Yeah.
Get yourself a shotgun, load it up, shoot the fucker in the
The
head.
thing is that I couldn't know, despite the naughtiness of this horse, it had a twinkle in its eye. You know, I couldn't help but like it.
You fancy the horse, don't you?
Eh?
Do you? Fancy the horse.
No. Why do you have to turn it into
Well,
that?
you brought it up that the horse had nice eyes.
So, all right.
Speaking of horses, did you see Jason Applin from Bennett? He put a thing up on the Facebook page
Stop
yesterday.
it,
It's like it's like a who? Listen, it's like an album that's like a tribute to Follyfoot.
I did see that. Yeah.
Do you remember that?
That's it.
The lightning
Not
tree.
really.
Follyfoot.
Dave, do you remember? Grow the lightning tree. Never
No.
give up too easily. Really?
Didn't
About a
watch
horse. Follyfoot Farm.
Oh,
Right. It was
Follyfoot
before our
Farm.
time, but it was repeated like when we were kids.
Yeah.
I remember it, but I never. Was it a TV show?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I never saw it. I was put off
So
by
it's
the
him-
name.
Yeah. It's him and a load of musicians have done like this like album
Yeah,
about
that's
it and like sampling it and stuff. I listened to like half of it last night. It's good. It's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, it does
Yeah.
look good. Do you remember Silas?
Yeah.
That was good.
Quite a few horse-based
Really badly
TV
dubbed.
shows, weren't there?
Really badly dubbed. That's all I remember it.
Horses were big, weren't they?
Yeah, Black
I mean, like,
Beauty.
you know, people. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, they were. They were big back in the day, weren't they?
Weird, eh?
Gone out of fashion. Well, not with
Yeah.
Dave, not in Dave's world.
No.
He's got a horse very much.
I'm
Instead
just
of shooting it,
noticing
why don't you
for the first
befriend
time.
it, tame it, and ride it around the fields?
Yes, do that. Ride it round
It
Berwick.
is tame. It's not a wild horse.
Of course it is. Just ride it into the pub.
Yeah.
That'd be good. I'd love to do that.
All right, that's your summer project.
Yeah. So going back to being on the beach fishing and stuff. So yeah, it was putting some 9 Inch Nails, put a lot of 90s music. It was quite like, you know, I was in charge of the music, so I just put on all loads of old stuff. And it was like those 30 years hadn't passed. But they had.
Did you put on DJ Jazzy Jeff from the Fresh Prince?
Didn't put that on. There was some 9 Inch Nails.
I used our summer list yesterday. We had a bit of a summer party for Elias. Celebrating.
Oh, really?
Did you use
And
the
I
mix?
played our playlist. Yeah.
Oh,
Really
brilliant.
good.
It's good.
Getting the young ones in.
Yeah. Oh, great.
No, so it was like, you know, if you close your eyes, you could pretend you were sort of 15 again. Danny had,
This is all Neil. Danny and I had
Special.
nothing to do with
Danny,
this.
Danny was smoking
I
the
know.
good stuff,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Neil, you're 48. No, just refuse to accept it.
All right, so let's get into this week's podcast with Marina from Salad. So if you are watching this, then please do rate and review. And if you could please share it with your friends, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends so that they can find it. So if we post anything in our Facebook group, you can share it on your page. That would really help us out. That's the best way for people to find the podcast. If you're listening, yeah, do the same thing. Rate and review. No one's reviewed us for about a year, so if you could review us, that would be good. And if you want to sponsor the podcast, email stupidandcontagiousPodcast@gmail.com. You can sponsor us. If you want to shout out, or if you've band want to promote something, Luke will do your review, all that sort of stuff. So you can do that, and you can download our app from the App Store. Stupid app. Get it on your phone. Easy way to listen to the podcast, isn't it? Or watch it. And seamlessly go to the mixtape. Is that it? Right. So Salad. I was having a good listen earlier on. Hey, good.
I just had salad for dinner, just like minutes
Yeah.
before I came on.
That's not a proper dinner, is it?
What was the main
I had
thing
an
of the
oven
salad?
pizza. I had an oven pizza and
That's not
salad.
salad, is it?
So you had an oven
It's
pizza
pizza.
salad.
There's a small pizza and quite a big salad.
A small salad pizza. It's not a meal, is it?
It is. It is.
Dave has a lot of good food because his boy's vegetarian, isn't he? So they eat properly over there.
Yeah.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Try
Good he's done that.
Salad's great.
He's helped you.
Do you have
out.
salad in Japan?
Oh. Of course we do.
Do
What
they have
salad
the same-
veg do you have?
Do they have the same salads over?
Same stuff. Same stuff. Yeah.
Exactly the same.
What, lettuce,
Taste-
cucumber and tomato?
Oh no, that's so English. That's
Iceberg?
the worst
Get
salad. Isn't
icebergs
it?
over there.
You do, but they're the worst. They're the worst lettuce, aren't they?
Don't know.
You need to have a sunny.
What's that? That's a Japanese thing, is it?
It's like a moonie, but we pulled down the front of your trousers instead. People claimed to do them on the school
joke,
coach
though.
trips and stuff, didn't they? Thanks, man.
No one's ever done it. No one's ever done a sunny.
No, they haven't. They haven't. No.
Yeah.
Plenty of moonies. We'll give them that, but not a sunny.
Don't know if I ever. Yeah, I must have mooned at some.
You would have done. Yeah.
That's how I discovered my bum was pretty hairy. I had no clue before. I did a moonie and it was photoed.
But a
What's
person in
developed?
boots must have seen your ass as well.
Those developers in Boots would have seen some good stuff, wouldn't they?
Oh, mate, the tales they could tell.
You really didn't know what you were going to get until it came back once you sent one of those reels in, did you?
Yeah. So when you saw your ass for the
Right.
first time, can you describe the feeling?
Just shock at how hairy it was. I mean, you wouldn't think I would have a particularly hairy one, would you? If you look at me.
Fuzzy, I would say.
No, it's more than that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Horrible, really.
Sure. Been horrible for listeners to hear about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
And Neil, he hasn't got a hair on his.
no, I
No.
haven't got hair anywhere. I'm very sort of hair free, look. No,
Hair-free lifestyle.
pretty much. Anyway,
Back to salad.
salad. Yeah, I was having a listen obviously getting ready for the podcast. I think out of all the female-fronted bands back then, they were probably one of my favourite. Well, they're probably my favourite.
They're good, aren't they? They've got loads of songs, you know. Beyond the hits, they got loads of good tracks, right?
Yeah, I'd put them more in I put them more in with sort of Lush than the Britpop sort of bands. I think.
Yeah, they had a bit of a quirky weirdness about them.
Yeah, they were good.
I think it's, weird lyrics, like she said, and in the interview coming up, and just really interesting.
Quite heavy guitars. Yeah, I liked it. Yeah, I've forgotten. I liked them back then, but it's nice to have a re-listen.
Yeah, me too.
Tell us all about Salad.
Do you have a Wikipedia?
Well, I can get one for you.
You should read the one for actual Salad now. That'd be quite funny.
They're an alternative rock group.
Sure, I'll go for that. Yeah, Britpop, alternative, indie, popish. Yeah. All right. So key lineup then. So Marina van der Vlugt, vocals and keyboards. Paul Kennedy, who she talks about quite a lot, plays guitar. They basically started the band together. A guy called Pete Brown on bass and a guy called Rob on drums. And also when they played live, a guitarist called Charlie Stone. Have you heard of her? She's an interesting kind of like.
I saw her in the photos.
Right.
Saw her in a lot of the photos.
She started off in like a riot girl band called Frantic Spiders. Joined Salad. Then after Salad, she replaced Charlotte Hatherley in Night Nurse. We talked about them when we had Ash on the podcast, right? They were the first band to have an MP3 single, if you remember, right?
That's right.
So she joined them, and then she joined Gay Dad.
Oh, really? I liked a bit.
Yeah. So she had and she's done loads of stuff. She's like a jobbing guitarist doing loads of interesting, cool projects, basically. Anyway, that's the lineup. So I won't go into it too much detail because she tells us quite a lot. But basically, Marina was in a band called the Merry Babes with Paul. She talks about it a lot in the interview. And at the same time, she was a model and a VJ on MTV. We used to watch Alternative Nation a lot, didn't we, around my house, which she presented.
Yeah. We'll talk a bit about that afterwards. Yeah, we did.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. You just wanted to mention that you had MTV.
Yeah.
We know you had it. You were the only person that had it.
They were the first to get it in the country. First
they were.
Yeah.
They trialled it on that family.
Yeah.
On the Lawrences.
Yeah.
They filmed them like Gogglebox.
Right.
See their reaction.
Probably should have done. It would have been good, man. The number of people coming in and out of the house and stuff. It was quite a lot going on.
Yeah, Jake with his rat's tail. It would have been good, wouldn't it?
Sure. Yeah. Well, you saw quite a lot of them this week, didn't you? You saw my brother's friends and my sister's friends and everyone like that, right?
About that, did we? Yeah, I went to your dad's funeral. Yeah, it was...
Well, thanks for going along, man.
I was going to say it was good. It wasn't good, obviously. It was nice.
As a few years ago.
Yeah, it was a really nice celebration of your dad's life. Some good music, a lot of Dylan and stuff, and nice to see his brothers and that.
Yeah.
And it was just nice to see everyone. That's the thing.
Yeah, I watched the live stream, which was really clear and it was really good. So. Yeah. No, not the same, but hey.
Well,
yeah. So Merry Babes evolved into Salad. They started self-releasing singles on their own label, started getting press coverage, which led to supporting Blur in late 93. So kind of just before Parklife kicked off. She talks about it in the interview, but yeah, they were just building up to Parklife. So Britpop was just about to happen. They were supporting Blur, which led to them being signed to Island Records, and they put out their first album in 1995 called Drink Me, getting to number 16 in the charts. It's pretty impressive.
That's all right, isn't it?
It is,
especially then when it was all about physical sales.
Yeah. Also, I think the same year, 1995, we talk about it in an interview, but they contributed a track to the Help album, Salad and Terry Hall, doing a cover of Dream a Little Dream, which is so good. So good.
Terry Hall later.
Man, I had a look at the track list of that Help album. Do you remember when it came out?
I remember it, I remember it. It's up there loaded on the compilation albums of the 90s.
Listen to this lineup. Oasis with Johnny Depp on it.
Yeah.
Orbital, Stone Roses, Radiohead, Suede, Portishead, Massive Attack, Charlatans, Levellers, Terrorvision, Weller, Nana Cherry, Mannix. These are just the ones I bothered writing down. It's just what an incredible set.
Yeah, I do remember it.
What was it for again?
War Child thing. I think it was for like what's going on in
Yugoslavia.
Croatia, Yugoslavia. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think they all went into studios on the same day.
That's right.
I think is how it did it. So everyone recorded in different studios around the UK on the same day, and then they got it out like in a week or something like that.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, Britpop's happening. They're riding high, etc. Second album was a bit of a delay, couple of years. Came out in 1997, called Ice Cream, and by then the Britpop dream was over. She talks about it in the interview, but and yeah, it didn't do so well. Second album, Ice Cream, didn't chart even. And as usual, yeah, I mean, didn't match the success. They dropped by their label pretty suddenly after that, and Salad broke up in 1998. Then Marina formed a band called Cowboy Racer, who had a little bit of success. The drummer released some kind of techno, kind of house records, and was in a band called Lapwing. And in 2016, Marina and Paul started performing just as a duo, calling themselves Salad Undressed. And then in 2017, they kind of got back together properly, but with a different drummer. And yeah, they released a third album called The Salad Way in 2019, which is well worth a listen if you haven't given it a go. It might be better than the ones it might be better than the 90s ones, I think. Personally,
it's better than it needed to be, really, wouldn't it?
Better, I would say it's better than it needed to be.
Yeah.
It is. It's really kind of idiosyncratic. It's got some really weird kind of stuff on there in a good way. It's kind of cool. Yeah. But they broke up a couple of years ago. She talks about it in the interview. They reissued their Merry Babe stuff and things like that. And she's living in Brighton and enjoying herself. And that's Salad.
Were her and Paul ever a couple? They've always just been. They were.
No, they were
earlier.
at the beginning.
At the beginning,
interview or not?
Well, I was just clarifying.
Yeah, they were at the beginning.
In the interview.
Sounds like they stayed friends throughout there. And like she says, she can't really work with anyone else, which is fair.
All right, let's have a listen to the interview with Marina from Salad, and we'll have a chat afterwards. Are you drinking piss again? Enjoy.
Okay. Oh, I forgot to ask. I googled how to pronounce your name, and it told me Marine.
I knew it was going to be about my name. What did they say?
It said, it gave me two choices: Marine or Marine.
Neither of them are correct. What would Google know? It's just a Dutch name with a weird, IJ in the middle that in English would be pronounced Marijne. And I do have friends that call me Marij, but that is not how you pronounce it.
No.
So the Dutch, the way I was christened is Marijne.
Marina.
But when I came to England in 1978, no one could say that without sounding very affected, like Marina. I'm like, no. or I started off with Marina. No, I cannot be called after a Ford Marina car, because they were around then.
Sure.
So I changed it to Marina.
Marina. All right.
Marina.
All right.
And now, even now, I have to, wherever I work, wherever I go, I have to give them a little trick. Like, how are you going to remember the name Marina? Because they look at it and they go, fuck. I don't, what was this? I don't look at the name. I think of the marina in Brighton, where I used to live, and it's raining on the marina. It's Marina.
All right. Good to know.
So you don't have to show them that.
No. Well, you said you used to live in Brighton. So where are you joining us from today?
No, I'm still in Brighton, just not in the marina.
Okay.
Yeah.
All three of us on the podcast are from the Brighton area. So
that's so cool.
Me and Neil are from Seaford. The other guy, Dave, is from Alfriston. And we all kind of lived in or around Brighton. We used to. I don't anymore. That they still do. But yeah.
Isn't it great?
Oh, I love it. I mean, I haven't lived there since 2002, but I mean, how is it these days?
It's expensive. But there's enough going on here for me to, nurture that cultural need if I want to. If I don't, there's the sea. And I already had quite a few friends when I moved here nearly 5 years ago. So I still have those. And the food is great. The bus travel is great. I mean, all the stuff that you need is here.
Yeah.
I rarely go back to London now. But when I first moved down here from London 5 years ago, it was like, oh my God, it's Toy Town. Everything's so close. I mean,
Yeah, you can walk across it. Yeah, yeah.
Walk across it. It's either a 20-minute walk or a 20-minute bus ride, and you can be anywhere you want to be. And I can't let that go anymore. I mean, could never. I mean, if anything, I would move to an even smaller place if I was to move ever again.
Well, we had Jim from Collapsed Lung on the podcast. He said it was a retirement home for Britpop stars. I mean, of course you're very far from retired, but is there any truth to that?
There is a little. I think mainly and initially because housing, even for a Britpop star, was too expensive in London once you start having families, having a family. And second of all, it is a hub of education here in Brighton, especially music education. I don't know how many music courses there are here. So all those folk that didn't really want to do anything else, didn't really know what to do else, they went into education. They still are, and I did the same. I went into education, not music, although I am now a little bit, but more into film. I went and worked for the film college here. So yeah, there is a bit of truth in it. And also people do like a quiet life after they've been in the rat race, whatever rat race that is.
Sure.
And the music business is a rat race. You know?
Yeah, well, we'll get into it, I'm sure. But yeah, I mean, well, and I saw like on Facebook and stuff, you post about going to gigs around Brighton still. You said it's got the culture and stuff like that. I mean, is it still buzzing for that kind of thing?
It really is. And look, in May gives us the Brighton Festival, which is now pretty much on a par with the Edinburgh Festival. You've got the main festival and you've got the Fringe, and everyone comes here. They do Edinburgh and then they come here, or the other way around, May then August. So if you're thirsty, you're going to quench your thirst here for culture. For gigs as well, everyone comes down here. Like Wet Leg did their Uma Thurman surprise incognito gig at the Green Door store.
Oh, did they really? Okay.
Brighton is on the map.
Sure. And I saw some footage of Salad playing the Hope and Ruin, which is a great venue, right? Yeah.
Great venue. I work opposite it, weirdly.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. And it's a great venue. We go there all the time. My students play there as well, like end of year gigs and things like that. I go and see, I've got a new favorite band called Fractured. I go and see them there. They're a Brighton band. They're
write that down.
They're like folk of our age singing about our stuff.
Great.
But it's magazine, it's Buzzcocks, it's Wire, it's Marky Smith. The Fall. It's everything, but they're all old.
Great.
They've got so much energy. So look them up, Fractured.
We'll do.
I've even managed to put my manager hat on. I don't have a manager hat, but I put my manager hat on just for once to get Paul, who Salad was Paul and my, that we were the founding members. He's got a new act called Mart Paul, and they're supporting them in July it's the Pipeline, the smallest venue on the planet. I don't know if you've heard of it. You know the Pipeline?
Don't know it. No, it's after my time, I guess. Yeah,
they're playing there on the 11th of July, so that's all the promo for other people done. Manager hat off.
Yes. Let's talk about let's go back to the early 90s. I think, like most people, the first time I saw you was on MTV. I mean, how was doing that?
It was a dream come true. Unfortunately, sadly and disappointingly, all I ever wanted to be from a very young age was famous, which is pathetic. But it's all I understood because I had a famous father and thought, this looks good. This looks like I can do this, and I'll get all the love in the world that I haven't received at home.
Sure.
I had a very loving family, but there was something missing, and I just thought, you know what? if they don't approve and they think I'm stupid, then I'll show them, kind of thing.
Mm.
But then I realized that I was very happy on stage, and it's something that I could naturally just do. And now I hear other artists talking about it, but then I didn't understand that other people felt the same, that on stage, it's the one place you feel safe. No one can touch you, metaphorically, that they can't. Yes, they can review you and criticize you, but not at the time. At the time, you are doing something that no one else can do because you're unique. So you feel comfortable, you feel at home. And I must have inherited that from my father. I mean, he was on stage until he died, pretty much. So
was he a musician too?
No, he was an actor. And so getting the MTV gig was like, wow, okay, here I am. Oh, I'm getting fan mail. Oh my God, it's so great. Everyone loves me. It doesn't really matter if I don't really know what I'm doing. I like my outfit. It was very fabulous, really.
But were you meeting bands and stuff as well? You must have been interviewing.
Yes.
Yeah, like who?
I wasn't very good at it, I have to admit. Because I wasn't good at the interviewing stuff. But who did I meet?
Yeah.
Well, York,
Wow.
Death, everyone, well, Blur, obviously, but that was after we played with them. They all came into the studios. But I was very much there during the day, filming the VJ bits, and at night when I wasn't there is when the bands would come in. But I interviewed BB King. He gave me a tiny little BB King badge that I no longer have, which is really sad. I'm so stupid. I wasn't really the interviewer, I have to say. People always say, "Oh, who did you meet? Who did you interview?" I met people more as a band member, so not as an
Sure. Can we go back a bit more? So you said before that you arrived in the UK in 1978. That's like on the brink of like post-punk and all that exploding, right? Were you going to gigs and stuff at that time?
Well, I was at boarding school, so that was difficult.
Oh, wow.
But my fellow pupils, there was certainly punk amongst them. So, and of course, it was a school where you could wear what you want. It was very progressive. Girls, no uniform. That's why my Dutch parents sent me there, because Holland doesn't understand uniforms or single sex.
Sure.
So no, I mean when I went to boarding school in 1978, from 78 to 83, we were allowed to watch Top of the Pops on a Sunday.
That was a treat.
Yeah, and the bands that I was sort of introduced to by the boyfriends, because that's how it happens. Boys introduced girls to music back then anyway. It was the Stranglers, it was the Cure, it was Duran Duran, it was Blondie. Blondie was before that. Blondie was when I was at school, at home in Holland. David Bowie. So yeah, and also Marvin Gaye, Pink Floyd, The Wall, stuff like that. Madonna, right at the end.
Sure.
Right when I left. But yeah, I wasn't going out to lots of gigs because A, I was a boy, like I said, and B, I lived in the countryside in the middle of nowhere when I did go home.
Boarding school, that's a funny thing, isn't it? That's gotta change a person. Fucking hell.
It really does. I had to walk out of a play at the Fringe. They said, if anyone has experienced any boarding school trauma, you're welcome to leave now. And I left after 10 minutes. I went, boarding school trauma, sorry. It's the thing is, my parents thought they were doing the right thing by sending me somewhere that was really creative, and my mom was desperate to have me in England after she'd left 4 years prior. She'd left her kids in Holland with their father, and to go and be with the gardener she'd met, very Lady Chatterley.
Oh, exactly what I was going to say. That's brilliant.
So yeah, my mom wanted me in England and sent me to boarding school. So, but that was good because, there was nothing in the region where my mum and my stepdad lived. So
yeah.
Boarding school, man. It is like Lord of the Rings, and not Lord of the Rings, Lord of the Flies.
Yeah,
in many ways. I was lucky. I think I still live in this realm. I was not part of the really, really trendy gang, but I was also not sort of
with the geeks.
I was also not with the geeks. I was in between. I was friends with them, so I was a floater. And recently at a school reunion, I was told that I was, oh no, Marina, you were really cool. I'm like, really? And these are all the trendy girls. Going, oh gosh, okay. That's nice to hear. Like nearly 60, and it still matters.
It's pathetic, isn't it? That stuff does still matter. I know. It's pathetic. I know. Yeah. It's good. So when did you start playing in bands?
It was my boyfriend at the time, Paul Kennedy. We met in New Cross. I was going to film school, and I was living with a brother and sister and it was the sister who knew Paul, and I'd met Paul in Farnham at a party. It all started with wearing a pair of my mother's leather trousers.
That'll do it.
He'd seen me at this party when I was still at art school in Farnham, and then when he knew I'd moved up to London to the same college that he'd just finished at, he started wooing me with his poetry to music, in particular Gunting. I have to ask Paul how this. Anyway, he wooed me with his fantastically weird, surreal words to music, and I loved it. And I thought, my God, here's a man speaking my language. Yeah. Of course, now I know that I'm neurodivergent, and every single man that I've gone with and friend that I've made, not so much the women, but the male friends, they're all on the spectrum somewhere. So I've got ADHD. I was diagnosed this year. And it just makes a lot of sense. So there he was, the man speaking my language, body and soul.
Sure. He
started going out, and he used to play me tapes of music that he'd made throughout the ages. He started writing when he was probably 5. And there was this one, and there was a girl singing on it. And I was like, who's that girl? Who's that girl singing with you? Oh, yeah, no, that's Miranda. Who's Miranda? Oh, yeah, she's my ex-girlfriend. I went, right, I can do that. I can sing, So we started, he went, can you? I went, yeah, I can sing. I couldn't. But then he started sharing songs with me, and we started writing songs together. So that's when our band, the Merry Babes, was formed. And it just felt right. And he's still really the only person I can write with. Still.
Wow.
And he gave me the courage. I will always blame him. He gave me the courage he gave me a voice, not just the physical voice. He gave me a voice to be me.
Sure.
And I'm not sure what would have happened if I hadn't had met him. So
sure. Wow. Love that. Yeah. That's great. And I mean, how was London at this time, like pre-Britpop bands? Like you say that you had your band, there are other bands. How was it at that time?
Well, we were in New Cross, and it was a very, very creative time in New Cross. We were going to a cabaret club called the Parrot Cafe at the Goldsmiths Tavern a lot. When I first met Paul and started dating him, we would go to that every single week. It was the highlight of the week for 2 years. And his best mate, called Chin, asked Paul, after Paul had gone up and done some, poetry on stage. He said, do you think I could get up and do anything? And he said, yeah, what? Sure you can. And I saw them in the Goldsmith College bar, sitting together, writing desperately stuff that they could both perform. And his mate was Jim Moyer, Vic Reeves.
Wow.
So that is how Vic started at this Parrot Cafe. So apart from comedy, loads of comedy, there was music. We would go and see Lush at the Venue, which is just down the road from the Goldsmith Tavern. It was all, again, Paul influenced me. It was The Fall, it was Magazine, it was Wire. Right. It was and then the Pixies came along, of course, late 80s. And the Beatles, of course. Always a Beatles song on. So again, I was very influenced by the man that was in my life.
Sure. That's interesting.
I worry about this. I do worry about this. That's how I was shaped a lot by the men that I was going out with. It annoys me.
Why do you think that's? Why do you worry about it?
Because I wish I'd had my own voice. But I didn't. I wish I had my own identity. I didn't know what my identity was. I didn't know. I didn't even have posters up on my wall. I didn't. And I felt acutely empty of identity until I found the music, and I knew that that's what I could do. So until then, I didn't know who I was. I just knew I want to be famous.
That's interesting. And well, we spoke to Mickey from Lush on the podcast, and she said like that time, that scene, there was a lot of camaraderie and a lot of love between the bands, and it just felt like I don't know, just like anything was possible, basically.
Maybe in the late 80s when she started.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, late 80s, early. Yeah.
I wouldn't have known because we weren't on the map yet. We didn't get signed till 1993. We were just playing and gigging and failing and reinventing and adding members and taking members away and writing songs and recording, and people going, this is all a bit weird, so it wasn't I wouldn't know. It was only until we arrived in the 1990s that the camaraderie went right out the window.
Right.
So,
yeah. So when did the Merry Babes become Salad?
I think it was 1992, and I think it was a venue called the Milk Bar, which was next to the Astoria, and we played our gig, half of the gig, and we'd become rockier and we had a heavier sound because initially the Merry Babes were very idiosyncratic and very plinkety plonkety. There is an album out there, by the way.
Oh, brilliant. Let's have a look.
So
wow, I haven't seen that at all.
This is a gatefold album sleeve.
Oh wow, that's great. When did that come out?
This came out through, do you remember Pledge?
No.
So Pledge is like a crowdfunding for bands, and this came out
Pledge Music. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Pledge Music. So this came out in 2017. An old A&R man that tried to sign us but didn't quite, to Go Disc, called John Cox, suggested that we go, when we reformed in 2016, 2017, he said, you should release all your demos, the Merry Babes demos, because he courted the Merry Babes, not Salad.
Right.
He said, the demos are great. You really ought to release them. So we did.
Yeah.
And it's still for sale now on Bandcamp.
Oh, great! All right.
It just shows how we evolved.
Oh, we've got an acoustic guitar there. Yeah, okay.
And my boyfriend at the time, I'd left Paul for someone else.
Oh dear.
I'd left Paul for an old art school
sure
boy that I'd been in love with for 5 years, and he made all our videos, right from the Merry Babes right up to I Want You, which was a song that released in, 1997, something like that. So yeah, there's some shot stills.
How was it hearing those demos again after all that time?
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah,
fantastic. It was like, of course it was a time warp, and it just married us together again as songwriters. We enjoyed it so much. It's so egocentric. It's like eating your absolute favorite food, watching your favorite TV program under the best, heaviest, coziest blanket with your favorite person.
Great.
That's what it was like, re-listening to the songs, because for us it was like art. It was, we were doing our art, and it was I'm good in a team,
Sure. That's great. I mean, why the name Salad? I know it was the era of one single word band names.
I digress. I do.
It's all right.
What we're talking about. So Salad. So in this gig, halfway through the Merry Babes gig, we said, right, and that was the last song by the Mary Babes we're ever going to play. We are now called Salad. Boo! Terrible name. That sucks. And they're right. It does suck. But the thing is that the Mary Babes sat in the kitchen on the Finchley Road in a communal house that two of us lived in. We rehearsed in the basement, and we said, right, we're all going to think of some names. We're going to write them down, and then democratically we'll choose the one that we love the most. And Salad was the second one on the list. It wasn't even, I don't know why we didn't pick the first one, but I think so.
What was it? What was discarded?
Cannot remember. Cannot remember. I wish I could. I am toying with the idea of writing a memoir, so I will that list. I think Paul's got it. Yeah.
All right.
So
sure.
Why Salad? Well, it had nothing to do with the music we were making, which was rocky and edgy and weird and in your face, sometimes surreal and off the wall, kind of just off kilter. Salad.
Sure.
No relation to it whatsoever. Short. And it's got similar letters in it. It's got 2 A's, and it would look good on posters. Right. So that's why we went with it.
That's a good reason. Yeah.
Yeah.
And where was the era of single word band names, wasn't it? When it was around that time.
Blur, Oasis, Pulp,
Dodgy. Yeah, they're all there. Yeah. Had to be done, really. No, it had to be done.
And nowadays, nobody thinks of food when they think of the band,
No, that's true.
I don't even think of my band when I'm ordering a salad in a restaurant. I literally think of the band. They are two very different things.
Sure.
So,
sure.
Yeah.
So you got signed. Did that happen pretty quickly after the name change?
It did, actually. We were courted by a couple of people. One of them was Steve Morton, Joe Wiley's husband. The other was Dave Harper, who was doing press for One Little Indian, and a man who I can't remember his name, so sorry. Steve Morton had heard a song called Planet in the Ocean or Heaven Can Wait on the Gary Crowley's do you remember
radio show that? Yeah,
it was called the Band Clash of the Bands or something like that. I don't know, I should remember this, but anyway, we won it 4 weeks in a row, by phoning up, getting everyone to phone up, as you did in those days. Anyway, they heard us on that. They came down to rehearsal, and Steve Morton introduced Dave Harper to us, said maybe this guy could do your press, and they were very interested. It was that time when we started to get interest because we had gigged so much. And also I was on MTV.
It may have helped. Sure.
It may have helped. Yeah, it probably did help. So this is interesting. This is weird. This you don't usually get MTV presenters going making music that's actually okay. Which is a terrible thing to say. Sorry, other MTV presenters. Sorry. But I had been in a band before I got the MTV job, so that was always the thing. That was the goal all along. Everything that I did, I was the band, then I did modeling, there was the band, then I did MTV, and then it was the band. And people don't often realize that. Anyway, it was they were interested in this girl that was audacious enough to be in an indie band as well as on MTV. So that was that. And then we got a manager battle, who's going to manage us, and Steve Morton wanted to manage us, Joe Wiley's husband, and Dave Harper wanted to manage us, and the other guy. And real sliding doors moment here. We didn't go with Steve Morton, who was the plugger for 4AD, and I repeat, Joe Wiley's husband, still is.
Sure.
We went with Dave Harper, the unknown, and only because we're also fucked up and neurodivergent. We went for the guy that made us laugh. We went for the guy that got our lyrics. We went for the guy that was thinking outside the box instead of the safe option that would have been Steve Morton.
Sure. Sure.
What would have happened if we'd gone with him?
Yeah. 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 It's interesting. I mean, but was it a good choice?
I don't know, Luke.
Yeah.
Had a lot of fun. I mean, if you could bottle the fun we had on the road, like with Harper as the fifth member of the band, and you know, Charlie coming along in 1997, he was our guitarist, live guitarist. It was a brilliant time, but it wasn't seen by anyone else really, and I'm not sure whether he was the right guy for the job. Might have had a lot more radio play had we gone with the plugger and the
sure. I think he wants to present an evening session. Yeah. I mean, you did all right. To be fair, you did all right.
We did all right, and we did it our way. Harper certainly helped with that. Dave Harper, call him Harper. I'm still in touch with him. You know, there's no bad feelings. It was bad for a while, but come on, it's been 30 years.
Sure.
But what I did want to say is, like I did mention, I'm trying to think a way around what the angle is to write a memoir. And the title, well, I really hope it stays at this, but the title is Dutch Salad and Other Delicious Recipes for Disaster. And that's because the decisions we make in our lives, you know, where do they lead us? Whether they're good or bad decisions, they get us where we are today. And really, we're not in control of the decisions we make, however much we think we are. So, you know, the many disasters I've had in my life, and of course, these are not natural disasters and no one's died and there's no war, but they're still sort of big events in my life, have led me to where I am now. And I am very happy. I am very happy. Very happy. So that's important. You know, silver lining there.
Sure. Let's talk about the B word, Britpop. So the timing was good. I mean,
the timing was excellent.
Yeah, I mean, how did you feel part of? I mean, all Britpop bands claim they weren't Britpop. I know you're Dutch. You kind of got an excuse, but did you feel comfortable being part of that scene and what was going on?
I didn't know it was. I don't think we knew a scene until it was over. Quite frankly, you know, the only scene that I know that we were part of and that didn't harm our trajectory at all was the girl-fronted indie band wave. Oh
yes,
that's the very first thing that we were like, oh, this band suits that.
Lush, Sleeper,
Belly, Salad, and Tiny Monroe. Remember Tiny Monroe?
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
that was the indie fronted, the female fronted indie band wave, and that was brilliant. That was at the beginning of everything. You know, we did gigs together, we were in the press together. It was a vehicle, and it was a great vehicle. And it was after that then we went on tour with Blur. They came and checked us out at the Bull and Gate, you know. I don't know whether you know Mick Mercer's post, like, on this day back in, you know, 2058 years ago, Salad play, you know, on the 24th of February, blah blah blah, and there's photographs of me in spangly pants. So that was all at the Bull and Gate, and and it's lovely that he's keeping the memory of the Bull and Gate alive. Have you ever been there? You must have been there.
No, I haven't. No,
Where have you been?
Well, I've been living in Japan for the last 22 years, but apart from that, yeah.
Are you in Japan now? You're not in Japan.
I am indeed. I am. I'm coming at you live and direct from Tokyo. Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You're not fucking with me.
I'm not. No, just in my flat in Tokyo. Yeah.
That's so cool. How did you get that vinyl there? I mean,
don't ask. It's
buy it all in Tokyo.
Most of it. Yeah. Some of it was shipped over. Yeah.
What time is it for you?
Oh, it's like 7:30 at night. So I've been to work. You know, it's the end of the day. 7:30 at night.
I love it. I've been to Tokyo twice.
Oh, great.
Not with the band, as a model, as a photographic fashion model.
Oh, wow.
Back in 1988 and again in 1989. Yeah.
Oh, great.
That was mad.
Yeah. It's interesting you talked about the female fronted stuff. So I saw you mentioned there was an article recently in The Guardian by Shirley Manson talking about how Britpop was kind of brutal for women in bands in the 90s. Was that true for you?
It was true. I have basically gone into the business with Paul by my side absolutely rip-roaring through it, like with all the confidence. I mean, stupidly confident. And over a period of 4 years, all that confidence was stripped away by men reviewing us in.
Oh, can you give any examples? Like, what kind of shit are they saying?
Oh, they would talk about the size of my bum. They
in a review.
Yeah, or she pictured me bent over picking something up and showing the size of my rear. She's never been small. But I wasn't aware of that until it started being talked about. And the fact that I wasn't allowed to have all these previous careers, it gave me no kudos whatsoever. And I didn't understand the business. I didn't understand how to court the press. So I would be very honest, and I would talk about the fact that I'd been to Tokyo and earned 20 grand and put it towards the flat. And that, my father was a famous actor, and this, no, I'm not from humble backgrounds, but why should that matter? And that didn't help us or help our cause. Didn't matter that we were making good music. The music didn't matter. It was the image, and I didn't understand it. And I still probably don't. I want to understand it because I think it sucks. I know image is a big part of things, but I think it needs to come hand in hand with honesty. And I think there was a couple of journalists that just would completely take pieces out of us for the sake of it. And yes, the music was different, and we would do better now. Because the taste zone has opened up and everything goes really. But it was just a repeated sort of salad of crap in the press, for no other reason than that we are. I heard, we made up now, but Mark from the Blue Tones were heard to say, it was other bands as well. It was just a bandwagon of salad. They must be shit because they've got that girl from MTV singing in it. They must be shit. She's not, she doesn't look like the rest of us. She's not wearing the big boots and the tight jeans and the t-shirt, the rock t-shirt, and it was just a very subtle digging. And our very first review, which was a great one, it was Melody Maker Single of the Week for Kent. I was also at MTV, and I think it was sadly departed journalist now, Dave Jennings, who said, this song, he basically said, this song rocks, and I don't care if the singer is a bog brush cleaner. They say that being on MTV is a problem. I don't care if she's a bog brush cleaner. I love this song. And the next day I was in the studio recording my links for MTV, and the boss's wife, who was also a VJ, stuck her head around the door and went, great, thanks for comparing our jobs to bog brush cleaners, Marina. That's really good. Top. And walked out again. I was like, what just happened?
Yeah.
What did I do? So we couldn't make anyone happy.
Yeah. And I mean, how did the boys feel about the focus being on you? I know, like, the enemy called, like, sleeper blokes, what they called, like, the sleeper boys. I mean, how did the boys in your band feel about that?
It upset them. However, they did struggle with looking stylish. They did struggle.
To be fair.
They did struggle. And to be fair, I wore some very strange things as well, Yeah, it bothered them. I can't lie. It did bother them because Paul was the driving force. He was the one that was writing all the songs. And yes, then we produced them together. Absolutely. It was a democratic pot. But he was like, why am I getting all this shit for not having an interesting face and being a little bit porky? It's really unfair. Yeah. Sure. And it gets you. It does get to you, unfortunately.
Of course.
No matter what he says. it's the age-old thing. You see all the good reviews and they're all great, and you see one bad review, and you believe that that's the one that's true.
Sure.
But we, like you said, we didn't do badly, regardless.
You didn't at all.
Although I recently saw a fantastic quote, not a quote, it was Mick Mercer, actually. He said, on this day and blah, 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 Salad performed, and he said some really good things about us. And then he said, but I wonder whether if Marina had jettisoned the keyboard and got someone else to play it and focus on her singing, whether they might have got further than they did. I can't think of many bands, he goes on to say, where the singer is behind the keyboard that did well. And I was like, well, that is a whole new one for why we didn't make it as much as
also, I mean, I've already started making a list in my head. Biss is the first one that comes to mind. Yeah. It's nonsense.
Look,
Pet Shop Boys, whatever. Yeah.
I just want to make very clear, I'm very happy with our history and what we achieved. Not bitter. It was great. Oh my God, what time to be alive! Really, what time?
Yeah.
And now I'm like, whoa, what a legacy! Brilliant.
Yeah.
Shaky, but when it all stopped, it did take a decade or so to stop being bitter.
Wow. You said you toured with Blur. How was that?
It was brilliant.
Yeah. If you've got any outrageous on the road anecdotes you can share.
No. Well, okay, I'll share two. They're not outrageous.
That's all right.
But they're quite funny. So we went on tour with all the college. It was the college circuit. It was just before they hit big with Parklife album. They started playing Boys and Girls and Parklife at the gigs.
Wow.
And we were like, there is something happening here. This is, and we'd been Blur fans since before, when they started, so touring with them was like, ooh, this is something else. We've made it, this we've had time. This is enough. And I would go and join them in their dressing room, because I fancied Damon like crazy.
Sure.
He would just, I mean, I had a boyfriend. And he
it's Damon. It's Damon. Come on, it's Damon. Yeah,
Damon. But my boyfriend wasn't unlike Damon, so Damon's completely my type. And sure. Remember, I mentioned his name was Dave Mould. He made videos. He made the Pop Scene video.
Wow.
So that's when I first met Damon at a Brixton Academy Blur gig before I was even in Salad, I think. It was still the Merry Babes, and Dave introduced me to Damon, and I was like, And he because they were talking about making the Pop Scene video, and I hope you know the Pop Scene video.
Yes. I'm trying to picture that. I haven't seen it for a long time. But
I'll tell you what. Song 2 video was based on the Pop Scene video.
Okay, sure.
So they're very similar. But check it out after this interview. Where were we, Luke?
Touring with Blur. Stories of on the road antics.
Yeah. So I was totally and utterly mesmerized by Damon, and he would just make me catatonic in his presence, unfortunately, and just say stupid things. But gigging with them was just an honor, really. We couldn't quite believe our luck. And the only thing that I remember happening, which was it's a bit embarrassing, really. And many people have said, don't say this. It does look really silly. It makes you look really egotistical. But it happened. We were at an after show party. Maybe it was the last gig. I can't remember. But everyone was there, including Justine, Damon's girlfriend. And she had ignored me throughout the whole tour. I would see her and she would ignore me, and I didn't know how to. And this is the beginning of bands that should be talking to each other, being scared, all these women. It was Louise, Sonia, Justine. None of us would talk to each other if we would meet events or in the toilets. It was really awkward. So Justine had ignored me for the whole tour, and at this party she came up to me, and it was a very, very loud party, so you had to talk into each other's ear. So she talked to my ear, I talked to her ear. And she said to me, I'm really, really sorry I've been ignoring you. I was just really, really afraid that because, this is the embarrassing bit, because you're so beautiful, I was afraid Damon would fall in love with you. And I was like, the Queen of Indie. I mean, how is this possible? So I'm not bigging myself up. I'm just saying that's ridiculous. No. I had no self-esteem. No self-esteem. It was just getting diminished and diminished and diminished. And that's why I was on stage, because I had no self-esteem. It's a weird conundrum that people who want to be performers have. I have lots of self-esteem now, and I'm no longer a performer. I wonder if
that's great. Well, let's talk about the music a little bit then. So how was recording the first album, putting those songs together and things like that?
Well, we decided we wanted, because now that we were signed to Island, we're like, who do you want as a producer? Pick anyone you want. We want the producer who just made the Breeders' last album, and Madder Rose now. So we met with Mark. What's his name? We met with Mark.
Let's call him Mark.
And he liked the songs. When you have a producer meeting before, you play them demos, and he liked them, and he said yes. And we went to Pink Floyd. Went to 2 different studios, mainly the one in Britannia Row, owned by Pink Floyd. And Paul was like, whoa, there's the Marshall stacks that were used in the Pompeii film. He was like, no, this is not real. Anyway, we started recording the songs, and there was a lot of pressure on us suddenly, because we'd already released Single Spar, which is an album that we recorded all by ourselves. There were 3 different EPs, and then Island put them together and made it a European release or an import, to make it special. And they were really raw, those songs, and they really had the Salad stamp all over. That was Salad, And so suddenly there was this pressure of, the Britpop. Suddenly it was like, you have to, these songs have to fit a certain they have to fit in a certain box, and they have to be polished. Probably Drink Me is more polished than it should have been. Mark Freegard, there you go, Mark Freegard. And unfortunately, Mark Freegard and I didn't see eye to eye, and there was a point in the recordings where I couldn't. This is also where the woman being a woman thing is. What would she know? What would she know about the sound, wanting something to sound a certain way? What would she know about the structure of a song? What would she know about, the sound of the drums? And I also probably didn't have the words to. I'm not musical in terms of I haven't got a musical background, so I can't describe in terms of chords and whatever what I mean. It's all just with words and shapes and hands and body language, what I mean. And he was so frustrated at one point that he literally said, "Oh my God, Marina, I don't know what you mean. Oh, this is what it's like talking to you."
Oh, wow. That's
hitting his head against an invisible brick wall.
That's pretty, that's not very professional for a start, but that's pretty fucking, that's full on, isn't it?
Yeah. Sorry, Mark. But that happened. And I remember sitting in the room crying, having an anxiety attack, not knowing that I suffered from anxiety, my whole life.
Wow.
Crying, going, I don't think I'm up to this. I don't think I can do this recording. It's too much pressure. I don't think I can. This is not for me. Those kind of things.
Wow.
In the end, so in the end, we got an album that ended up in the top 20.
Was it? So you said you didn't see it. Was it poppier than you wanted it to be?
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's got its dark moments. It's got some good old dirty riffs on it as well, I think.
Good. I'm glad recently because I know you got in touch because I posted about the 30th anniversary and you saw that, or Neil saw that.
Yeah.
And my friend Gillian and I listened to it that night through the noise of my 17-year-old son online role playing. So, you know, I've had to compartmentalize. I literally don't hear him, and I only hear what's coming out of the radio because there's nowhere else to go at the moment. And we really loved it. I particularly loved the songs that are sort of the ones that no one talks about. Shepherd's Isle, Nothing Happens, Warmth of the Hearth. They're really interesting. And I always like the fact that we told stories, and I always like that I was able to convey those stories with my voice, with my storytelling persona, without really understanding. Because at this point, I wasn't picking Paul up on his lyrics being a bit weird. Still, he had complete control, and it was only later on that I started saying, "I'm not going to sing that. I don't get it. Can you change it to something that's maybe a bit sexier, and maybe something that people can relate to?" I think the problem with our music was that people couldn't relate to a lot of our songs because they were weird as shit.
I really like Your Ma on that. It's just kind of a really dark and it's a really kind of dirty riff on it. It's great. Yeah.
Thank you. I know that go off on tangents. Am I answering your question?
No, that's what we love on the podcast. That's how it's done. I also really like the cover of Dream a Little Dream you did with Terry Hall for the Help album. I really loved that album when it came out, and that's one of the best tracks on it. How was it? Were you in the studio with him? Did you meet him?
Very much so.
Oh, wow. Tell me about that. That's great.
Okay, so Terry, sweet old Terry, was a fan of ours. I mean, that was the maddest thing.
Wow.
We played at the Lomax in Liverpool, and I think someone alerted us to the fact that Terry Hall might be there in the audience. And after the show, we were in our dressing room. The door was just askew, and we saw him walk past with one of the promoters, but not come in. And we're like, "There's Terry Hall. Why is he not coming in?" You know, he was too shy, so he didn't come in.
Wow.
But I can't remember how. We then got in touch. He wanted Paul to write some songs for him because he was doing a solo career. And again, my boyfriend made some videos for him. It's all interconnected, you know.
Sure.
I gave him a couple of songs, you know, for B-sides. He would call me at my home saying, "You're mad, you are." I'm like, "What? Why? Why am I mad?" "Well, the songs that you've sent me, you're nuts." I'm like, "Okay, don't know whether that's good or bad. I presume you're not going to take the song, but that's fine." I think I sent him a song called Gwen and Glenn. Anyway, then came the call of, "Listen, I've been asked to..." No, before that, we would meet at parties, showbiz parties. I remember one in particular.
Showbiz parties, 90s showbiz parties. Love it. Yes.
They were very silly. And a lot of insecure people running around going, "Who do I talk to? Who's who? Does anyone know?"
Looking over their shoulder for someone better to speak to.
Shoulders, yeah.
Yes.
Being paranoid. I remember Graham Coxon talking to our A&R man, Nigel Coxon, and right in front of me, Nigel saying, "Hey, Graham, we've got the same surname." And Graham went, "What do you mean by that? What do you mean? What are you saying?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm out of here. What the fuck just happened?" You know, you can't say anything to anybody. Everyone's coats off their heads.
Well, exactly what I was about to say. Yeah. Cocaine would do that.
I didn't take any drugs until our sound man made me take some coke in Hamburg. And you know, I partook a bit now and again. But we were not druggies and we were not drinking, and this is why the parties weren't that fun for us, and we weren't really part of any big drug alcohol sort of gang. But anyway, back to
Terry Hall at the party. Sorry, go on.
We were at the party, and we were standing there, and I'm thinking, fuck, I'm talking to Terry Hall. And he said, "You know, it's really weird, you know, that I'm standing here talking to you, because, you know, I mean, you know, you're Marina from Salad." I'm like, "Yeah, you got to be kidding me here. This is the around, you know. Now, I don't know whether he would say that for effect or not, because he knew damn well who he was, you know.
Oh, I don't know. Everything I've read about him, he seems a genuinely sweet, kind of down-to-earth guy from everything I've read. So I would take that at face value.
That's certainly the man that I knew, you know, a little bit. And anyway, so we'd have meetings like that, and then one day the call came that there was this album being made, and Terry had been asked to contribute, and he wondered whether I would sing with him.
Wow.
And would I meet him at his record company in Kensington High Street and choose a song. So I did. We sit after hours in a little office listening to vinyl, and we listened to the Mamas and Papas Dream a Little Dream, and I went, well, that's clearly it. And he went, yeah, I agree. And I said, but the thing is, I don't think I can do this unless my band plays on it too, you know. Okay, fair enough. So he drove me home in his Jeep. I didn't live far from Ken High Street. I lived just behind Olympia at the time, and he started telling me about his divorce and how, you know, he'd split up from the girl that he married in Coventry, and how they weren't talking, and how they would drop the kids at the end of the street by a phone box or a post box, and then the one parent would leave and the other parent would collect the kids. And how she'd had all this plastic surgery as soon as, you know, they split up. This was all in a matter of like 10-minute drive.
Yeah, so, wow.
Oh my God. And then we did the recording, and it was absolutely wonderful and scary, and everything that I ever wanted all in one day. There was a media circus. We were being filmed for Channel 4. There was a string quartet. There were dogs, there were babies. There was an old school friend called Verushka, who happened to be there for some magazine or newspaper. And there was my boyfriend, who also knew Terry because he'd been making videos for them. And there was the band. And there was Stephen Street. And we were at Metropolis Studios in Chiswick. And it was singularly the most impressive day of my career.
Oh wow. Oh, I'm glad I asked about it. That's great. Okay.
Yeah. Also because my voice was different from the way that I sung on Salad Records. It was a new voice that I'd found, and it was soft, it was expressive, and it was my voice, and I didn't have to push through any rock music. And we only had like an afternoon, a day to do the recording, and I was asked on film to come up with harmonies on the spot. You know, and I was like, this is your moment, Marina. This is what you were made for. I can do this. And I could.
You totally nailed it. Yes. So good.
And it was just the most amazing day. And we're incredibly thrilled to have been part of it. And people are still talking about it.
Yeah. Oh, it was a big thing at the time. It's great. Yeah. Yeah. I
started watching Welcome to Wrexham. And I'm not that interested in football. In fact, I'm not at all interested in football. But I'm interested in, since having watched Ted Lasso, you know.
Oh, I love Ted Lasso. Yeah. Yeah.
If you're not interested in football, Ted Lasso is a must. Yeah. But what I noticed I only watched 1 or 2 episodes of Welcome to Wrexham until I realized I wasn't that interested. But what I noticed that there's a lot of Zoom calls, and both Ryan and the other guy have their laptops on boxes, like nappy boxes. Their laptops sitting up high, not on the desk. I've done the same.
Me too. My laptop's on a box as well. Yeah, it makes all the difference, right? Yeah, so simple. I know. So the second album didn't do quite as well as is, of course, right? The first one did so well, it's almost impossible that it was going to do, you know, as well. I mean, how quickly did the label kind of be not particularly happy with you after that?
Well, the thing is, they threw all the money they could at the second album, but we took too long. Like, oh, the first album did so well, the second one's going to do even better. We had no idea what we were doing in terms of, you know, you've got to be quick, you've got to catch the zeitgeist, we had no idea that things change so quickly. We just were babies, we were blind, we absolutely did not pay any attention to the culture of and how fast it can change and the backlash. And with that, well, we can take our time, these songs are great, everyone will still love us. And that obviously wasn't the case. Some people prefer ice cream to Drink Me. There are definitely ice cream.
How about you?
I prefer Singles Bar.
Good answer. All right.
Actually,
yeah, go on.
This is the album I love the most.
Salad Undressed. All right. Is that acoustic, right?
No. That's the mistake we made. We started out as just Paul and I thought of the name Undressed because we started out again in 2017, just the two of us, but it more grew, and in the end up being Donald Ross Skinner, who produced Ice Cream, who used to play with Julian Cope. The three of us made this album on a laptop in a dingy bedroom, but it sounds like a full band.
Okay.
Not all of them. Some of them are acoustic, maybe 2 or 3, but mostly it sounds like a full band. And it is my dream, Luke, is to perform on stage with an orchestra. And I thought of that way before everyone started doing it, by the way. But
great.
Or I'd like to write a musical, and that is not an original thought. But something's going on, and I've got emails coming up now. Please go away. There we go. This is also on Bandcamp, and this is
great.
Basically, it's called Good Love, Bad Love. Good songs, bad songs. I mean, good love songs, bad love songs. And it's where Paul and I and Donald's songwriting really, really shines. So
that's great.
We're proudest of this record. Yeah.
That's like after UK. That was after you got back together. So 2018-ish.
Yeah, 2018. Right? So this was the first. Mary Base was the first.
Then
Good Love, Bad Love, also through Pledge, and then.
This is it. The comeback album. Yeah.
Which originally started out as through Pledge, then Pledge went tits up and owed all the bands millions and millions of pounds.
Oh, wow.
Pledged. And we were, I think, at $7,000 went missing. So we had to find another way of releasing it. And we went with a company in Brighton, actually, called the Republic of Music, who gave us the money to record it and blah, blah, blah. Also very
I was listening to it earlier in the week and absolutely loved it. Yeah, it was great.
Hey, thank you.
It's kind of a strange thing to say, but it was much better than it needed to be. Do you know what I mean? I think like Salad fans would be. What do you know what I mean? Like, well, Salad fans would be happy with anything, but it's much better than it had to be to please Salad fans, and I think. I don't know. I really, really enjoyed it.
That's really interesting that you'd say that.
It sounds maybe I didn't put that
right. I think it just goes to show. I do. I know exactly what you mean. We over form.
Sure.
What's the word? When you overcompensate.
Yeah, maybe, but it totally works. And it's kind of it's got that kind of weirdness, like you say, that maybe the early stuff, which I haven't heard the Merry Babe, so I don't know, but it's got a kind of weirdness to it, which I think is definitely not on the first album and stuff. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's great.
Salad Way.
Yeah.
Here
we go.
Tell me, why do you think it's called the Salad Way?
Oh, the salad, I guess. I mean, you're doing it. This is the way you. I don't know. I don't know. Give up.
Because we were
doing it your way again,
and like, no, that's not. There's something not quite right about it. Let's try this. There we go. That's the Salad Way.
That's
and we
the Salad Way.
That's it. That's the Salad Way. And then it's just like, okay, we have to call the album the Salad Way.
Oh, I like that. Yeah. That's interesting. I mean, was there any specific event that triggered that kind of reunion? And you said 2016, 2017. Yes. Was there a?
Yes, it was. It was Paul playing a solo gig in Crystal Palace, and I went along just to support him. I wasn't doing anything. I had a small child. How old was he in 2016? 9, autistic, had just been diagnosed a year ago. So I was like, I'll go along. It was cold. It was January 2016. And he played a song called Relationship Dust. And it was like back to the old Paul, funny as hell lyrics. And I was like, gosh, you still got it, you know, that songwriting. And I said, I don't know, should we get the Merry Babes back together? You know? And he was like, sure, why not? And I even think Donald, who was there doing the sound, Donald Ross Skinner, recorded that, has it on video somewhere. He's saying
that conversation.
We got the band. Shall we get the band back together?
Oh wow!
So we did our very first sort of acoustic gig there at Crystal Palace in this little art venue, and we were called the MBs, as in the Merry Babes. We didn't tell anyone because we were like, no one's gonna. It's too scary, you know. I'd done a couple of open mics with him, and I couldn't. He'd do 2 songs, and I my son has just texted me something ridiculous.
Go on.
He says, he's next door. He says, tiny spider on me. Don't know where. Small enough to not care. Yeah.
That's poetry right there. Yeah.
My arm. Maybe I should let it crawl directly up my arm. I just want it away. It just fucking disappeared. Might still be on me. Might be on the floor in the bathroom. Don't know. Don't care. It was tiny. Kind of cute.
Lovely. Thank you for that. I love you. It's probably in your armpit hair. Did you hear that?
Oh, I did. Indeed. I did.
Where were we, Luke?
I can't even remember. I want to ask about the difference between now and then. So being in Salad, basically. I mean, the industry and everything. I mean, what's the difference?
Well, the difference is that it was wonderful to restart. No, I'm just saying that to freak you out. I was being silly. It was a joke. Okay. Didn't find it. No. Awesome. So, why was it different? What did I start saying?
Oh, I don't think we did.
So, why was it different? Because we had full control. And it was just such a joy to write again with Paul. And it was different because oh yes, that's right. I started doing open mic nights with him. He would do 2 songs and I would come on for a third song. Couldn't even open my eyes. I was so scared. Got a Polaroid of a friend took, the guy who we took all the photographs for our records. This one's another one. This is one of my favorite Salad songs, Selfishness of Love. You know it?
Yeah, I heard it. Yeah.
So anyway, he came along, took a Polaroid of me, and I'm like singing like this with my eyes closed, can't open, you know. It was different because we were doing it on our own terms. We were doing it for the love of it. There was no pressure on us. Didn't think anyone would care. Weirdly, they did. And that was really nice. And we had grown up and standing on stage and singing our songs and seeing the happiness of the people in the audience being there with us, not against us. Some felt like that, was just a truly wonderful, wonderful thing. And if the pandemic hadn't happened just when we were about to promote the Salad Way, maybe we would still be going. But it really didn't help us. Really didn't help us. There's no funding now for bands, so it was very difficult. And I gave up the band about 2 and a bit years ago because I had to be there for my son, and we weren't making any money. Enough people weren't coming to the shows. There's still competition out there, unfortunately. It's gone, but there is, and it just wasn't doing it for me anymore. It was too much of a burden rather than a joy. But that's after we finished in 2023. We started in 2017, so that's a good old 6 years.
Yeah.
Pretty longer than the original time.
There you go. Yeah.
Oh, look at all the.
There you go.
stuff on there.
You created together. It's brilliant. It's great. All right. I'm conscious I've kept you a very long time, so I apologize.
I don't
But
care.
I do have
I've
one.
got nothing else going on. It's half term. I'm not working.
Oh, is it? All right.
Yeah.
I do have one final question that we ask every person that we interview. And the question is, which other band from the 90s would you have liked to have been in, and why?
I'd like to have been an Elastica, apart from the drug taking.
Sure.
I
Oh,
mean,
they were so fucking cool, right?
Who's cooler than Donna and Justine and Annie and Justin? I mean,
No one. Yeah.
no one.
Yeah. That's great.
And
That's great.
We hung out a bit, Justine and I did. After that time at the Blur gig, I'd be at the house quite often. Never saw Damon. I think he was always downstairs. But Justine and I, we were mates.
Great. That's great. So you said there's stuff on Bandcamp. So if people want to listen to it, Bandcamp's there, and they can go and they can buy the albums and stuff from there. That's the best place to.
Yeah, I mean, I'll send you a link if you want to add the link to something.
We will indeed. We'll put it in the notes to the podcast. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much. I'm going to stop the recording, but don't escape just yet. One moment, please. But thank you for your time.
Well, it was wonderful. Thanks for letting me revisit.
I thought it dehydrated you if you drank piss.
Anything's better than nothing, isn't it? Any kind of liquid is. Sure.
If you drink alcohol, it's not good for dehydration, is it?
Not pure alcohol.
We're just having that water, and it's better than nothing.
I don't know. Not sure. No, because that means like if you drunk petrol, that would be good for you. It's not, is it?
Yeah, but petrol's not got water in it, but piss has.
So
Piss is mostly water.
So
Yeah.
it's American beer. Am I right?
Yeah. But on ships, all they drank was beer, wasn't it? Like low alcohol beer, because the water was too dangerous.
What do you mean, like in the Armada days?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, all they did was get drunk, wasn't it? That's all they did.
Yeah, but beer was different back then as well. Like, like when they built the pyramids, they paid them in beer, didn't they? But beer was like bread back then.
But
mead is a sort of like a meal, isn't it? Yeah.
If you were in the army in Drake's time, you just got paid to get pissed on a boat. It's like a booze cruise, wasn't it?
No, not really.
With guns, with cannons.
Cannon.
Anyway, I think we digressed a little bit. Dave, did you enjoy it? Well, and me, because I wasn't in the interview either.
I'll ask then. Did you boys enjoy that?
I thought, yeah,
Yes.
I thought she was cool.
Yeah, I really liked her, yeah.
I'd like to hang out in Brighton with her. She sounds fun.
Yeah, she was cool. We had a bit of a chat after we stopped recording as well, and just talked about places in Brighton and stuff. And I was like talking about where I used to live, and she's like, "Where's that?" And she was like googling. Oh, I know exactly where that is. Yeah. And she was just really, really nice, really kind.
Yeah. Anna, it's good to hear her flying the flag for Brighton.
Yeah, good to hear that it's still great. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's good. They're good that they. She's right though. They have got like a lot of music colleges and stuff. I've emailed a couple of them to sponsor the podcast, but they haven't bothered getting back to me, so won't promote them on their own.
Just did it.
But yeah, there's quite a few. Yeah, there is quite a few.
Oh, I tell you what, I didn't know Brighton had a fringe festival. I definitely want to go to that.
Yeah, it has got something that goes on.
They have the Brighton Festival. Is it part of that?
Well, yeah, I guess so.
Be,
But
yeah.
it sounds like they have something like the Edinburgh Fringe Festival.
Yeah, they do.
I'd
They
no
have
idea.
loads of stuff on at Comedia and stuff, I think, and all those sort of places.
I went to the Edinburgh
Have a look.
one once. It's really good. Really enjoyed it.
Did you?
Yeah.
Was it just like loads of comedians?
Comedians.
Comedians, comedy shows, all kinds of stuff.
I'm surprised we haven't got an invite.
For
Oh, man.
you have to say something funny to be considered a comedy show.
Not always. Mrs. Brown's Boys, she doesn't have to do anything funny.
Who watches that, though? Someone really...
Billions.
Mum likes it for some reason.
Your mum?
Mum
Super.
really likes it. Yeah,
It's popular.
I
isn't it?
know. I don't know why. Yeah, it's massive. I don't know. I can't even snigger when I watch it.
What's the funniest thing on it you've seen?
I don't think I've seen enough of it to find anything funny.
I've just always turned it off too quickly to give it a chance.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's unwatchable. It is really unwatchable.
I only know about it from people talking about it on podcasts that I listen to, saying how shitty.
Give it a go. You don't have what?
No,
Report
No.
back. That's your homework.
no, I'm not taking that. I'm not taking that assignment.
You might get hooked on it.
I'm not doing it.
Terrible. I like that she said quite early on that all she ever wanted to be was to be famous. It's quite an honest thing to say, isn't it?
Yeah, it's same Times Review, didn't it, now? That's all you ever wanted.
That was Chara, yeah. That was Charlie.
And one day you might be.
I ran out of time.
Yeah.
Ran out of time.
Maybe if you were scooped up by one of those water-carrying helicopters and then poured onto a forest fire, you could get famous that way.
Or if I
Yeah.
got my hand stuck in a rock like that 127 hours.
Yes. And live streamed it. You go viral.
Then you can make a film, can't you?
But imagine doing that, but your stream doesn't get out, so no one sees it.
Yeah, I mean, if you can live stream it, you can call for help, can't you? So
Yeah, I think that's the point. Hang on, when was it? Didn't he have a phone back then? Probably not.
Yeah, but he was in the middle of the desert, wasn't he?
Yeah. You can still get reception in most places now.
You can't get reception here,
that was
let alone the desert.
driving school today, I was chatting to this Australian guy, and he lives up in the mountains. Him and his wife bought a farm and all the surrounding land and a mountain. They bought a mountain that was included in the land. And he said, like, just over the last 10 years, they've just gradually kind of given up everything.
Right.
So they don't have electricity, and they don't have water, and they don't have the internet. And I think they've got like a little truck, like a mini truck thing, which is why he's learning to drive. And they don't earn any money, really. They just grow their own food and just live like a life of subsistence. Because I think they need to go, some plants need to go places, right? Although he says in the winter it gets snowed in for like months and they don't leave the house for months.
It doesn't seem like driving lessons is a real priority. It should be a real priority for that.
Well, it does. If you live anywhere out like that, you need to, there's no buses. You
don't have a
can't
life.
walk. Well, that's the thing. That's what he said. He's been, yeah. But I mean, that's mad,
it's
right?
a bit some of that's a bit cunty though, isn't it? I mean, I get the whole internet stuff and that.
I was gonna worried he might hear it, but he's not going to, is he? So, but super nice guy,
And he would never admit to hearing it either. So it'd be
no,
fun.
then you have to, then he'll have to admit that he does have the internet. Sure.
But yeah, I don't mind living off grid, like with the van and stuff. But I think if you go like, what do you say? That they haven't got running water and stuff.
No, he says he goes to a spring every morning and gets all the water they need
Yeah,
for the
see,
day.
that's just wanky, isn't it? Just get some water.
It's pretty bold. It's bold, isn't it? It's
annoying.
It's commitment.
It's annoying, isn't it?
That's
It's
commitment.
annoying.
It's not annoying, it's what you want to do, but more and better.
Yeah, exactly. You just haven't got the balls to take it that far.
All right, maybe I'll end up doing that.
Oh man, I saw Neil's van at the weekend, which was, I was so disappointed about how far he's got.
Before they came on the air today, I've spent the morning fixing fussing water leaks. It's not easy.
No, I mean, I was a bit disappointed, but I was impressed too, about what he has done.
Yeah.
But,
Right.
Yeah.
it's not finished. There's no walls or kitchen yet.
No, because
get
I
there.
was hoping it would all be done.
But once I got these bits done, those bits shouldn't take too long. I'm getting someone else to build the cabinets and stuff, so I just need to get the running water done, and then. But yeah, I turned the water on yesterday because I plumbed it all in, turned it on, and there's about 15 water leaks, so I had to go around to fix it all. Living
I
life.
guess it's good to discover them now.
Yeah. There's so much water all over the vat. It's mental. Anyway, we haven't really spoken about salad yet.
Sorry.
MTV. Let's talk about MTV first. Yeah. So yeah, I mean VJs they were big deal back in the day, weren't they? The old VJs on MTV.
Ray Cokes. Loved Ray
Yeah.
Cokes.
Yeah. He was.
Richard Blackwood.
Was he one?
I thought he
I
was.
don't know who that is.
No, I know Richard Blackwood. He was huge for a while, and then he disappeared.
Yeah, he was an MTV star.
Yeah, you might be right. But yeah, they were big. Back in the day, weren't they? MTV. hosts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she did that pre-salad, right?
At the same time.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen to the interview now.
That was a golden era of MTV.
It was early 90s. Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah.
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 It was good.
Boarding school
About
fucks you up, then.
Yeah.
boarding school here, yeah. I've never understood how that anyone thinks it's a good idea to send their kids there. I don't understand.
Risky, isn't it?
Of course, you know, you put them into the elite echelons of society instantly. They're gonna be successful.
But you can do that with a private school anyway, can't you? Without having to do all that stuff.
But most of the really top private ones are boarding, aren't they?
I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't. It just seems like
They should be banned, shouldn't they?
Bizarre way to
private schools
treat a child.
Private schools and boarding schools.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you go there at the age of like 7 or something like that, which some of them do, right? That's fucking.
Yeah, it's gonna mess you up, isn't it? A bit.
Yeah.
I think it is. But yeah, she went to boarding school, didn't she? I wonder she didn't say which one it was. It wasn't Rodine, was it?
It doesn't sound like it. Said it's somewhere in the countryside. So
That's such
Mallory Towers.
That building at Rodine is such a sort of imposing building as well, and it's just really sort of looks like something out of Harry Plopper, doesn't it?
Yeah. Was that a joke, Dave? Mallory Towers?
It's just that would have been a great one to go to, I think. Have you seen
I
that?
don't know what that means. No, I don't know what it is.
It's a fictional boarding school, but it's been on a TV show. It makes it look really good and fun to go to boarding school.
Well,
That works,
makes
bunny.
it look good and fun.
Hey, what about my joke?
Yeah, I guess.
Huh?
What was that?
What about my joke?
What
What was the joke?
I said Plopper instead of Potter.
What was a joke? It's not a joke, is it?
Her and Paul met in a party in Farnham. I went to uni there.
I didn't hear her say Farnham. Okay.
Well, I did.
I did. I thought when I heard that, Neil's going to mention he went to uni though.
God. Well, let's keep it quiet so he won't.
Why doesn't I want to hear about anything I've done in my life?
I do, really.
Dude, it's just the interesting stuff.
I know, I'm joking. Yeah, I like Farnham there. It is a cool place. I think it's one of the richest towns in England or something. It used to be. That might
Was it
be.
founded by John?
John Farnham?
Yeah,
voice?
yeah.
There's this bloke when I lived in Portugal, Schooner, who owned the Red Eye Bar, and that was his favourite song, and they played it on his birthday, and all the Australians were in there, and they all went mental.
Yeah.
It's
Good tune, though, isn't it?
It is a good song.
like
It is.
I think I've got it on my iTunes. I have got it on my iTunes. I like it. Yeah, put it on.
Oh, yeah, you should talk about living in New Cross. That sounds like a good. And surely that's where Carter was from, right? Or was he just happened to be sing? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some rent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or living there, I think. Yeah. Yeah, it sounds, again, at that time, right? But pre-Britpop sounds so good, doesn't it? Sounds idyllic.
Yeah.
And a time when you could live in London. Like, you didn't have to be a rich oligarch.
Hanging with Vic Reeves and doing cool shit. Yeah, man.
We were too busy in Seaford going down the
And we were
road.
too young. Yeah. Yeah. Sounds good, eh?
Does sound good. I quite liked her comment with that because she's obviously talking about her and Paul and the band and stuff, and she's made that comment about that she's worried that she was shaped by the men in her life, and that feeling empty till she found music.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. But she found music again through the recommendations of men in her life as well, which gave her the identity.
Yeah, there's just that undertone of misogyny. It sounds like, isn't it? Not even that though, is it?
It's not misogyny. It's do you know? It's just the fact that men are the default human, aren't they? I'm reading an interesting book at the moment. It's called The Authority Gap, and it's basically why women are still taken less seriously than men.
Yeah.
And that's all part of it, isn't it? And women are, we're not allowed to be the taste formers and the culture leaders and stuff like that.
I'm not sure if that's so true these days, though, because I think there's a lot of females leading the way now in music and stuff, and social media and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think it's changed. It's changing. It's changing. It's still not quite there yet, but yeah, it's changing.
Yeah. Maybe not still in the workplace, but I think in culture, it's definitely changing, I think.
I wonder if it is.
I think so. But like, you know, like I say, music, like especially solo artists, I think females are leading the way in that respect.
Yeah, I guess. Or is it that there's just a few high-profile ones? So,
And then,
yeah.
But in the music industry, a lot of the work, the hard work's been done by people like bands like Salad or women like Marina.
Yeah.
Of that era.
Yeah, for sure.
It's kind of, music is one area where it has been leveled a bit. But then if you look at like politics, you know, that's just, there's so far to go. I mean, the world would be so much better if we were led by not just women, but people that don't want to be leading. And it's just a catch-22, isn't it? Anyone who wants that power should just be immediately disqualified.
But no, I mean, it's a proven fact that when women have been allowed to lead, they've you know, they have better outcomes. And the reason is, well, except for Margaret Thatcher, I mean, the reason is because they have to be 10 times more competent than men to get there. So mediocre men succeed. But when women succeed, like, they're the really fucking best of the best. They're shit hot.
Yeah,
have to be.
If you want to be saying sensible things, you need a shitload more skill, because the sensible stuff is usually boring.
Yeah, and the media that conveys it is all insanely right wing.
All right. So
yeah, that was interesting. But again, if we're on the subject, like when she was talking about Britpop being brutal for women in bands and having her confidence stripped away by reviewers just commenting on her ass instead of the music.
Didn't really matter what the music was like.
No, that's pretty fucked, isn't it?
Well, I guess it is if you're them. Yeah. The old Mark from the Blue Tones got a bit in there.
Yes. Yes, he was really long, and even back then.
I don't think it was to do with that, though, was it? He just basically said that he thought they were shit or something.
They must be shit because they must be shit because she's like an MTV model, which is why he thought it was.
So he was already,
yeah, already on dodgy ground. Dave's hero.
Yeah, that's interesting that she mentioned him, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But then on the other side, you had like the sleeper bloke phenomenon, which we talked about, right? The idea that these kind of faceless men that no one knew who they were.
I mean, it's true to an extent, isn't it? It is true to an extent. If you think about all those bands, you do, and I'm guilty of it too. I do just remember the singers, like Belly and Sleeper and stuff. And yeah. Also, do you remember that band that Sophie Ellis-Bextor was in? The Audience. Do you remember them?
Yes, of course. Yeah.
They were actually quite good.
Yeah.
When was she in that?
Pessimist will never be disappointed, wasn't it?
That's it. Yeah. Mid-90s.
Put it on the playlist. Stop clicking.
Oh, right. So before she got successful solo,
yeah,
she was in a band.
She was in the Audience. Yeah.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. They were all right.
But like Marina said, like, you know, Paul was writing all the songs and he was kind of just being dismissed as, you know, a faceless sleeper bloke when he...
Yeah, so it's difficult for everyone in those bands, wasn't it? Difficult for the women because they were just basically sex symbols for a lot of people, or, you know. And difficult for the men because they were just invisible, even though they're in these huge bands.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting from both aspects there.
Yeah.
The thing is, a lot of the journalism around then is pretty harsh, wasn't it? But I guess from the journalist's point of view, they just have to write something. You've got to either go 100% for or 100% against. Yeah. They probably didn't even believe half the stuff they were writing.
No, I think that's true in journalism, isn't it?
So I think there was this kind of blokey culture that existed in the 90s that allowed that to happen.
That was all the lag. That was the
Loaded and Nuts magazine and all of that. Yeah. But I don't think The Enemy was much better. It had a few female writers that were great, but it was still a bit of a boys' club, like everything was, you know, everything was. Still is, mostly.
Yeah, I liked that she said after that all sort of finished in the 90s, it took her like a decade or so to stop being bitter. If that was me, I think it'd just take a lifetime to stop being bitter.
Imagine that,
always.
Dave. Imagine if Main Street had actually been slightly successful. Imagine how unbearable it'd be.
He'd be even more miserable than he is now.
I know.
I'm quite, in a way, I'm glad we didn't have.
Not as glad as we are.
Because I don't think I could go back to normal society after that. I think it would forever haunt me.
Yeah, I know.
So I get that. I'm surprised after a day, because she seems all right with it now. Yeah, I wouldn't be. Yeah. No chance. No. That's what I mean. A lot of these bands that we speak to, like obviously there's a lot of them are still doing music, but a lot of them have also got like other jobs and stuff. And I just think that's, I don't know, man. Going from those heights to, not saying that doing other jobs is, I don't know. I'd find it difficult. I don't think I would.
Well, you could never do a normal job, could you? You just couldn't bear it.
No, not now.
I think I'd like to be an ex-rock star.
Would you?
I'd like it, yeah.
Would you go on this podcast?
Well, yeah, totally. Completely, yeah.
I do have to pick her up on something, though. And it was interesting hearing about the Blur anecdotes, touring with them.
Yeah.
But, you know, she first admits how much she did fancy Damon.
Yeah.
Right.
And then surprised at the reaction from Justine. But I think she was surprised because her own self-esteem wasn't great. Sure. But you can understand it, right? I mean, from Justine being a bit worried about someone else who's very attractive might take away her boyfriend and stuff.
But I don't know. I was disappointed that there wasn't sisterly solidarity between the female-fronted indie bands. I was disappointed to hear that there was.
That sounded a bit.
Should have been
that they all just sort of ignoring each other.
Yeah.
But they became mates later, didn't they? She said.
Yeah.
He said they were mates later. Yeah. Was this that's how his thing was weird, wasn't it? Like when it's just talking about the parties and stuff, just like people off their heads. It would have been a weird sort of environment to be in. Because there wasn't much solidarity in the Britpop scene, was there? I don't think. It was renowned.
Yes, we keep hearing again and again. Yeah, it was...
it's just everyone was pissed off that they were banded up with it, right? Everyone thought they shouldn't be in that scene.
No, they were all off their heads on coke and thought they were more important than the next person because they've been given a fucking $500,000 to make a shit video. Exactly. No.
Yeah, it's funny that these parties, that's what they were like. It's just, I guess it was just,
of course
every band was in the different corner or whatever, and they might have crossed paths at the bar or whatever, and then gave each other a glare across the bar.
Sure.
And that was it.
Yeah, no solidarity like we were talking to Narcosis in the grindcore scene, not lending each other pedals and sleeping on each other's floors.
Yeah, and even the old Grebo scene in the early days, that was totally different. It's funny that.
Especially, Mega City 4 helping everyone, basically, it sounds like, doesn't it?
Yeah. Good song though, isn't it? Put it on the playlist.
Offspring.
That's a good one, that. I used to listen to that.
Maybe dumb, but I'm not a dweeb. Just a sucker with no self-esteem. Yeah, it's good. It's a good line, isn't it?
Not sure about the dweeb bit, but...
Dweeb's a good word, isn't it? Decent band as well.
I liked little chat about Terry Hall. It's sad when he died. I like Terry.
Yeah.
I like the specials. I like the stuff he did after his Fun Boy Free and all that stuff. I just think he came across as quite a nice guy.
Yeah, definitely.
Very talented, I think. He's one of those, wasn't he? He didn't really do that much afterwards, did he? Did it? He was always doing little bits and pieces.
Yeah, I think he did quite a lot of stuff for other people, basically.
Yeah.
And I finished reading that Walls Come Tumbling Down book. He was pretty instrumental in all of the Red Wedge stuff and Rock Against Racism and all that. So he's one of the good guys, you know?
Oh, yeah, definitely one of the good guys, yeah.
Was it a few years ago he died, wasn't it?
Yeah, a couple of years ago now, I guess. It wasn't expected.
Did I see him?
Well, not recently.
Did I see him in Yokohama?
Or was it Jerry Hall?
Jerry Hall, that was it.
I think so, yeah.
She was bigger.
I can't remember if it was Terry Hall or Jerry Dammers. I saw one of them
I met Jerry
playing in
Dammers.
Yokohama.
I met Jerry Dammers at that Scar Festival thing. It was
Right.
DJ.
What a fucking dude, man. What a dude.
Yeah, you'd love
He wrote pretty much all the special songs. Yeah, mate, so good. I can't remember which one of them I saw. I saw one of them anyway, playing
They're
specials.
very different looking people.
I know they are.
He's got no
One's
teeth
got-
yet.
No teeth, I was about to say. I can't remember. You know my memory.
Yeah, he was the genius behind a lot of the special songs. Very
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen a few of the specials. They were doing different things. What's the guitarist called? I saw his band. They were really good, actually. Roddy Radiation. That's it, Roddy Radiation.
Radio.
Yeah, he was the guitarist. But I've seen his band and they were good. They played at the Scar Festival and they're quite good. Okay, she did make a good point that just be a good sort of tip to future guests about putting the laptops on boxes. I got mine on a box.
Same.
Dave, you ain't got yours on a box, have you?
Yeah, I lower my seat, but I guess
Yeah.
I could have raised my
Put
laptop
it on a
as well.
box. Eye level, isn't
Put
it?
it on a
That's
box.
Eye level.
Yeah, because you don't want to be seen from below, really, do you? Like this.
No,
So
exactly.
just a little tip there. Put it on a box.
If you want to look a bit more handsome.
Yes.
Yeah,
Get a box.
if that's possible. But yeah, but that's all I got.
Me too, man. But really enjoyed it, and yeah, it's great.
Yeah, like I said, I might go to the Hope and Ruin and see if we bump into each other. Seems like quite fun.
Yeah. Go and see that band you mentioned, Fractured. She might be in the audience.
Yeah, I might. Need to get out more. Right, so that's it for this one. Thanks so much, Marina, for coming on. Enjoyed that thoroughly. If you are watching this, then please do give it a thumbs up. Get involved in the comments. Let us know your favourite salad songs, if you saw them live, all that sort of stuff. And if you're listening, yeah, leave us a review. We haven't had one for ages, like literally nearly about a year. So someone go on there and refresh it so that when people find it, there's just not old reviews. That'd be good. We appreciate that. So go and do that now.
Review where?
Oh, I don't know how you do it, but they're on
iTunes.
there solo. Don't know how you do it.
iTunes.
No one knows how to do it on iTunes.
Some
why we haven't
people have
had
done
any.
If when we post on Facebook, if you can share that on your Facebook pages, it does really help. That's the best way because people the same demographic. They'll enjoy it, I'm sure. Do that. We love you forever. Sponsor the podcast, Stupid and Contagious podcast at gmail.com, and download the app. Stupid app.
If you're new to the podcast, welcome aboard. There's nearly 100 other episodes to listen to, so have a dig into the archives. If you're into Britpop, we've had Ash on, we've had Dodgy, Symposium. Who else have we had?
Oasis.
Britpop? Oasis. Everyone. Just dig into the archives and you'll find one of your favourites, I'm sure. And also, I make a Spotify mixtape for every episode. So I'll put plenty of salad tunes on there and some of the other stuff that Marina talked about and some of the other nonsense that we've talked about today. I'll put on there as well. So have a listen to that if you can.
All right, that's it for this one. Join us next week for episode 99. Getting to that 100. Episode 99 of the Stupid and Contagious podcast. Join us next week, Dave.
See you in a minute.